Hello everybody,
Hi, my name is Tyler.
and my name is Ilya, and it's Roll It Right Month! So this is day 9, and today we have a video for you.
Oh, a video? About what?
Our first impressions of our Roll It Right collection. Now, Part 1. As you may have noticed, I think we don't want to keep you for like 2 hours here with us talking about over 50 games, so we've divided this into 2 parts. So today you're only going to get to hear perspectives of these games. So if you're really looking for opinions on some of the other games that we've talked about or you're waiting to see, maybe check out part 2, and we'll link that below once it is posted.
Yes, yeah. And of course, we're not going to get too heavily detailed with our reviews here.
First impressions.
Yeah,
this is first impressions.
This
only.
is a first impressions video.
Yeah. So maybe our first impressions have changed. Make sure to follow along on all of our.
First impressions can't change.
They're always the same.
They're always the same, and then your impression can change. But that's okay.
Yes. So if you want to follow along our journey, make sure to check out our Instagram, check out our TikTok, check out our YouTube page, which you're here at. We make sure we share everything that we do, and for our more review type content, if you want to get more of our thoughts, head on over to our Instagram, because that's where we typically love to dive in and give lots of thoughts to games.
And don't forget about our giveaway that we're doing.
We're doing a giveaway?
Yeah! We'll be talking about the 2 games that we'll be giving away actually today. So if you're looking to win a copy of Silver and Gold or Sonora, then make sure you comment down below and check out our other videos to get even more.
Yeah, for any Rolling Right video you comment on, and make sure you're also subscribed to us, because you have to be subscribed in order to win. For every video you comment on, you'll get an entry. Yes. But only one video. Now, we've been playing Rolling Rights this whole year, and we're still playing many, so it is possible that we're going to miss a couple of rules, or mix the rules up and say that in this game you have to do this. So if we make those mistakes, please be kind to us. Comment down below. We'll make sure we put all the fix mistakes or anything in our description. We're going to do our best. I think we've got this covered, but just in any chance, just wanted to leave a disclaimer. We've been in Roll and Write frenzy right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is like a rapid fire first impression thing too, so we might just start rambling. Who knows?
Who knows? We'll tell you a story about the canoe.
What's a canoe? Just kidding.
Well, shall we dive in?
First impressions.
Let's go! So we're gonna start on this side so you folks can see me, because I feel like I'm hiding a little bit behind all of these games. But we're going to look at all the Stronghold games, all the Stronghold Roll and Rights that we have. They published quite a few, and I really enjoyed most of them. So, shall we dive in?
If not all of them. Yeah, let's do it.
Probably all of them, to be honest. Let's talk about Dizzle.
Dizzle. This one's fun. I really liked it. Yep. It's quick. Most of the Roll and Rights are pretty quick. Mm-hmm. This one is cool because there's a little interaction with other players with the bombs.
Yes. Yeah, there's a couple of spots you have to race to, which makes it really fun. The other thing that really impressed me in this game, for my first impression, was that there's levels. So there's 4 different levels that you can play. And the first one is fairly straightforward. You have to collect gems, race the bombs. But as you try the different levels, they become a little bit more complex. It's harder to get to some places. There's rocket ships that try to fly you. Different pieces. So that was something that really drew me to the game and left a decent first impression.
I forgot about the 4 levels, but that is.
We'll have to play again through all the levels, and I'll win.
No.
Okay, and that is
Dizzle.
Divvy dice.
This one's pretty cool. I like the fact that you can play, like, as an inactive player, you get to do stuff. Mm-hmm. And obviously achieving goals is fantastic.
But only if players re-roll.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, there's a little bit of a twist on that.
Yeah, so here in this game, in order for... Because a lot of these games in Roll and Rights, I think that they do typically well, is the inactive players, if it's not your turn, they still get to participate somehow. Yeah. If they steal a die or they get to take an action. Mm-hmm. But this one's really interesting because you roll the dice, and then you can choose to re-roll them. But if you do, your opponents can use one of the dice.
That's a really good point. Yeah, and then on top of that, there are two different types of cards: goal cards and combo. Well,
Like
I
bonus
them,
cards.
Yeah, I call them combo cards. But you can basically use them to get more stuff and get your like engine rolling a little bit faster. And for that reason,
yeah, because you're building a 3x3 grid, and some will give you points, some will not, and like you have to kind of buy them at different points. So I really like it because it's kind of like a market type game.
Yep.
But also it's so customizable and so replayable because no game will ever look alike.
I think the only thing that I would say negatively about this from my first impressions, and obviously this is first impression, but I don't like how the market can't be cleared.
It's fair.
So there is that. But other than that, it was fun.
Okay. And that is Divvy Dice. Now, bravo for our first impressions. So this was actually one of the first ones I think we played from Stronghold.
I think, didn't we do a check it out for this one?
We did do check it out for this one, so you can check out or check it out in our links below. So if you really want to learn more about the game and hear our full impressions, but from our first impressions, I think I really liked it because of the colors. Like it's such a vibrant game because typically like some of the roller rights you open and it's this like monotone sheet and you see all the combinations and it's really exciting. But this one, like, there's colors, there's hearts, there's a dice that has all these fun combinations on it.
Bombs.
I feel like feelings wise, it just gave me all the good feels opening the box.
Yeah, I think I particularly like games or roll and rights that you have to like combine the dice to. And this is one of them. You grab like a color and a number or a bomb, and then you get to pick how you want, and it makes the game like that much more interesting. And who doesn't enjoy a race?
Exactly. Bravo!
Yay!
Yeah, I think my favorite here is like when the bombs explode, you can create so many combinations, and combinations are just my joy when it comes to roll and rights. And I think this game is one of the best when it comes to combinations. Because there's you can't just do one, like if you position a bomb or some of your crosses in the right place, there's so many things that you can kind of bounce off each other, and it can really just lead for a really grand, exciting moment. And that is
Bravo!
bravo. Now let's move on to
Ripple Rush.
Ripple Rush.
This one is really fast, so if you're looking for like a really quick roll and write, then this is for you, and it's relatively.
And it is a flip and right.
Yes. Yeah.
No dice in this one.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. It's also like pretty fun to play because you're playing against another person. Well, against everybody else, and you're flipping cards to try and draw them in ascending order.
Ascending order.
Yeah, and then you can also get these little combos, but all you're doing is essentially drawing the number that you
you're trying to make sure that the card that's flipped makes sense in your world, because if you close some of the gaps, it makes it really difficult. So there's those little points of tension that are so exciting in these types of games. And because it's so short, as soon as you're done, you're like, I want to play this again.
Yeah.
I remember when we first played this, I'm like, let's keep playing. I want to try to like make all the combinations happen. I want to score the most possible points, because it is really fun to kind of reach for the stars as well.
And it's simultaneous turn taking too. So if you end up not being able to play your card, you see everybody else draw their number down. And then also on top of that, you have to basically give your number to other people, and it's just sad.
The mechanics in this one are really neat. Definitely left a
good impression.
Good impression in my heart. And that is Ripple Rush.
Hey.
Brikks.
Tetris in a game.
This is Tetris in a board game, and I think it's actually, like, my first impression with it was that the execution was actually so well done.
I really enjoy this game. I will say that although it is Tetris feely, I wasn't the biggest fan of the rotations, because I felt like you couldn't get away with rotating as much, and you have to be able to fit
colors.
Well, you have to be able to fit it down the column. Yeah. And in Tetris,
that's true. You can
this is me like this is me like nerding out here, but you can like as you're dropping, you can rotate and it'll sneak into the slot, and I I kind of missed that in it. But
that is true.
Although I think it is an important rule to have for this game.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be really hard to write that rule.
Yeah.
It'd be like, go watch a Tetris video.
Yeah.
So that you can do this. But I agree with that because it was frustrating at times because like in Tetris you could make that piece fit, but because of the way that it falls in the column, it doesn't here. I think for me, what really stuck out is the feel and the nostalgia that really came with this game, because I am hopefully like many of you out there, so please tell me if you relate to me, but I'm the type of person who in Tetris will build everything up and then just have this like one single line that I just really hope for those 1x4 pieces to create like the ultimate combination. But what happens is I don't get it and then I lose with no points essentially. So in this game I did basically the exact same the numerous times that we've played it, where I tried to like, I'm gonna get all these points if I get this one line, and I never got it.
Yeah, and you get extra points for completing multiple lines at the exact same time, so it is something you want to strive for, but it's pretty difficult to do.
I think this is also one of the few, if not only, maybe correct me here, and correct me, you folks too, that has a D4, so a 4 numbered dice.
Yep, that is...
Because most, I don't think there's any other ones. So yeah, it's a little triangle and it's really fun. Pyramid. I guess, triangle, not 3D.
Nope.
But cool. Brikks, Tetris, loved it.
We'll play again.
Second chance.
Yeah. If you're looking for like a flip and write that is basically a polyomino game, then Second Chance is the game you've got to try.
So this one steals my heart because it's also one of my favorite designers, Uwe Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Maybe yours? Yes, yours?
Yeah, like close to.
Close to. Yeah, he definitely makes so many good games, and it has kind of the Patchwork feels in this too. But I really like this one too because it's really accessible. So you can play this one over Zoom. Yeah. You just need one deck of cards. You can even just have paper and try to figure it all out together. But it's really cool because, and like the name goes really well with this, is because you always have a second chance. If it doesn't work,
then you're done.
Flip more cards, get your second chance. But if you don't get it,
too bad, so sad.
This one wins my heart, and it's also fun because you can make little patterns. You can get all artistic with it, and that's something I really enjoy about roll and writes too, is when you can lean in on a little artistic side of it too.
Really like this one too.
Oh, not Ripple Rush. Oops. Second chance.
Yay, second chance.
Good thing I got a second chance to say that.
Hey, all right, next one.
So I guess let's start from the original. Yes. So I'm gonna. Oh, now they're upset.
That's chaotic. Just hold one of them up.
Okay.
All right, that's pretty clever. Is it?
It's so clever.
It's pretty clever, yeah.
So I got the app for this game, and I'm nearing 100 plays, and that's pretty clever. Yeah. And honestly, it's because the first time we played this, I did terrible. Honestly, I couldn't even understand how you can, because there's a little...
They have a score pad thing that tells you how well you've done.
Yeah, it's for solo gaming, but if you play with two people, it's essentially the same as solo, because you get the same amount of kind of dice. Yeah. But I was shocked, because usually, like games, you play your first game, you hit that like average or below average. Here it goes from 0 stars to like 5 stars. I had 0 or 0.5 the first game.
The first game I had 0.5.
Yeah, and I was just like, how? How do you do this? So I was really intrigued, got the online app. We've been playing a lot in person, and it just draws you in. And like the reason this game really sticks out and is so, I think, widely popular and successful is the combinations in this game make you so happy. Yeah. Because you can complete one, you can get a bonus from one of the mini or one of the sections, lead to another section, lead to another section, and lead to another section. And you can really create these chain reactions that are just like, yes.
I think it's not like extremely prominent in this one as it is in the other ones, but like
you have to set it up.
That comes with the name. Yeah, you really have to set up for the combinations in this. But that's the exciting strategic part about it, is choosing your numbers wisely or choosing your dice wisely and placing them appropriately and not taking that bonus too soon.
You have to be clever.
Exactly.
There's no other way to do it.
Yeah. Cool. That's pretty clever. Let's move on to the second one.
Twice as clever.
Yay!
Is it twice as clever as That's Pretty Clever?
It's definitely got some more combos going on with it. I think what I really enjoyed about this one is there's a space where you can use all of the dice to create different rows. Well, you have to create the same color of the row, and it adds a slight difficulty to it that I'm not familiar with, and That's Pretty Clever. So, not that it's better than That's Pretty Clever, but it has an edge in that sense.
Yeah, we play these in order, so I feel this one I obviously did better because I knew some of the combinations and how to create some of the things. Yeah. But it was neat because it added some different mechanics. For example, you have to minus, so the two values that you add, the multiply and you minus. So you obviously want to get like a higher value first and a lower value second. Yeah. And it definitely makes you think in a different way. And then how you get bonuses is also a little bit different. I feel like this one is more similar to That's Pretty Clever than Clever Cubed. But I will say from first impressions, I think Twice as Clever is my least favorite of the three.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
it's still really good.
Yeah, like
we love Roll and Write. But yeah, I think owning all three is not a bad thing because they're very different. But I think this one just didn't
click as fast.
Yeah, it didn't capture as much of excitement for me as the other two did.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that is Twice as Clever.
Boom.
Now, let's move on to Clever Cubed.
It's upside down. You're not very clever.
No! So Clever Cubed, I really enjoy this one. I think I will say this is my favorite of the three.
This one has the most combinations, so... Oh, no! Combo killer.
Well, what this one does is it really utilizes the silver platter in a different way. Because the dice that you place here, like there's specific spots where you can only place them or you can not only, but you place them in that location if it's on the silver platter.
Yeah.
So you can't place them in other spots unless it's the silver platter spots, which is really neat. And then I really like the mechanic as well where one of them you can go for bonuses. And like if you fill in certain sections, you'll get the bonuses faster. But you don't have to fill the other sections in, although it'll give you more points but no bonuses. So it kind of prioritizes the bonuses, which is really cool. And I did really good the first time I played this one.
I think because it does that, it has that prioritizing of the bonuses, you're more likely to have like that chain combo reaction.
That's true. So, yeah, you can get them faster.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I had 2.5 stars, which is like an improvement. I will cry when I get 5 stars. I will go YouTube live and be like, I got 5 stars. But all of these 3 games are absolutely fantastic. I think they're just one of those games too that if you really enjoy solo gaming, you can pick this up. There's also a really nice app as well that you can just click and does it all for you. And it's just so fun to keep playing and trying to beat your own score. And that's an element I really enjoy rolling rates, especially knowing that I scored solo and I'm like, I will do better.
I need to do better. Yeah, that's fair.
But that's the Clever series.
Yay! And that's the end of Stronghold games for us, at least today.
Yeah, I don't know if we have more. We might. Yeah. So stick around for our part 2 to see if there's any more Stronghold games we can chat about.
But without further ado,
everything else.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's talk about Bloom.
Bloom.
Blah blah bloom.
Flowers bloom.
Yeah. This one's neat actually. You basically circle the color, the dye color,
the pips, and the color of the flowers.
And it's also a little bit stressful because you're basically trying to fill your flower beds, circle all of your flower beds before anybody else, and then also circle all of the colors, all of one color kind of thing. And yeah, it's as a small box, like you just kind of don't really expect it And then boom.
I'm a big fan. This theme could have been anything. It could have been toys, it could have been flowers, it could have been anything. But I really enjoy that it is flowers because it does kind of like the pots, the 6 different pots, the regions. It gives that little bit of a thematic feel to a game that's typically not thematic. But my first experience with it was great because I love the color of the dice. They're different than most games that I've seen. They're just more like bright and more vibrant. Yeah. As you can tell, I'm really drawn to like really just bright and happy games. But it is really neat. Like it is stressful and neat to see like what everybody's going for, how you're racing to the colors. I really enjoy those like race to finish first, but it's also tricky because you do have to pay attention to what everybody else is doing. You can't just play your own game.
And if you are trying to just like race for yourself to get first done, like sometimes that's not going to win you the game either.
True.
So
very true.
Yeah, there's a little bit of strategy to it.
May your flowers bloom.
Yeah.
King Domino Duel.
Yay.
Duel.
Well, if you're looking for a 2-player game that is basically King Domino, then I 100% recommend picking this one up. I really like it. It adds a little bit more randomness to what King Domino actually is. And then also you're just drawing down cool little symbols.
Yeah, when I first heard of this game, when I looked at it, so this is pre-first impression, I guess. I could not fathom how this roll and write relates to actual King Domino. I don't know why, it just didn't click for me, so like I didn't see the correlation. But then once you actually get playing, it's so clever. Yeah. Because you essentially make the dominoes, and the dominoes can be anything. Where in King Domino, you know that there's these many that exist, these many that will come out. Here, you can maybe get the exact same domino. The chances are, infinitely impossible, but not infinitely, not impossible. There is that one tiny, eeny, beatsy chance that you could just get the same dominoes. But because of that variability, it makes the game really exciting. Yeah. Because you could be, I really need this in order for this to work, but it could never come up. Which also could be frustrating, but to me, it was exciting. My first impression, I almost liked it more than King Domino just because of the variability and the dynamic. I feel like after you play King Domino enough, you kind of know what's coming. Like, you don't know what's coming, but you have the strategies. You're going to collect this. You're going to try to make sure you build this.
Yeah, but here, that could be said with any game.
That's true. That's very true. But I do like that this one's so dynamic. Like, every game is so different because of the dice element.
Yeah. It's good. I like it. It's a lot of fun, and it's another 2-player game that we get to add to our collection.
I do love 2-player games.
Okay, let's do the next ones. Let's do them together.
You want to do them together?
Yeah.
The Railroad Inks. So we have the Blazing Red and the
Sky Blue. No, Deep Blue edition. There we go.
Isn't Sky Blue Pokemon?
No.
What's Pokemon?
What?
Oh no, it's Ruby Red. Sapphire. Ruby Red. No, just kidding. Okay.
Well, these games are great. I really like this. It's basically you roll a dice and you draw what's on the dice. And you're forced to draw the white dice that you roll. But you're optionally allowed to add in expansions. Yeah,
and there's 2 that come with each box. We'll talk about them in 1 second.
Yes.
Actually, I knew about these games for a long time, but I
cannot believe we took so long to get them.
See, like, I just wasn't super drawn into them. I don't know, like, I feel like I'm not, the theme maybe didn't click with me, like, it didn't, something about them just didn't resonate that well with me, and I am kicking myself. Yeah. Because ever since we played the first game, like I think the first time we played this like every day for the week straight.
Yeah, this game's amazing.
Because it's so easy to get to the table. Yeah. It's so unique and it's so like eerily frustrating but also exciting at the same time because you don't get what you want. But it's so cool to adapt and be like, let's just make the best of it. Yeah. And then you picture this town with these like railroads that go nowhere, or just streets that just like not very functional, but
or like meteors and volcano lava running.
Exactly. Yeah, so let's quickly talk about the expansion. So the
blue.
I keep saying Sapphire Blue.
It's not even called Sapphire.
No, it's not.
It's just Pokemon Sapphire.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Or Pokemon
I'm so sorry.
Alpha Sapphire, maybe Omega Sapphire, I can't remember.
Oh, the new one. Okay,
Omega
this
Ruby.
isn't the Pokemon
Alright,
channel.
yes. Railroad Ink Blue Edition.
So there's rivers.
Yep, that's one expansion. So you have to play with one or the other. You can't play with both.
You cannot play with both. Yeah. And rivers, I think you're trying to create the longest river,
Yep.
which is really exciting because the river, you can add them and create some fun blue into your rails and roads that go nowhere.
Basically, too, you don't have to draw those either. So if you end up drawing, or you don't have to follow most of the rules with the rivers.
Yeah.
You just draw them kind of wherever you feel. Obviously, it's beneficial to make that connecting river, but sometimes you might just need to be able to put one down somewhere so you remember that that's where you need to
And
go.
a lake, you're trying to build a lake.
Giant lakes.
And the bigger lake, the better.
Yeah, but you can't do flooding because you have to make sure you close your lake.
Yeah, you have to close your lake.
Yeah.
If you don't close your lake,
Yeah.
in trouble.
Which leads to volcanoes, basically.
Yeah, volcanoes overflow. So one starts and kind of just expands out and makes it trickier to draw things in. And then meteors come crashing down,
And make holes.
which are inconvenient.
Yes, yeah.
Out of the 4 expansions, which is your favorite?
I like the river one the most, I think.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I think it's also I think the most simpler ones out of all the 4. So it makes my brain happy.
Yes, yeah.
The volcano one stresses
Volcano
me
one's
out.
stressful.
But it's still fun.
Yeah, because you also have to try and close that one off too, or it's gonna keep running.
Can't have volcanoes just invade your whole railroad.
Well, those are the 2 railroad inks that we're going to talk about today.
And we're going to talk about the next 2.
And then part 2.
Exactly. Now let's go into Qwixx.
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 Small box.
Small box.
Simple to play. Roll all the dice and determine what you cross off. This one's a lot of fun. I think there's like 0 comboing in this. You basically you roll the dice and you cross things off. You have to make sure you go from left to right though, so that's pretty important. But other than that,
hey, you're trying to get the most points by creating as long of a combinations of breaks as possible.
No, you can have breaks.
You can have breaks. You can have breaks. But what I mean is, if you don't have breaks, you'll have more points because there's more things that you cross off. So you can't have breaks. Sorry, I didn't mean.
You basically get as much points as possible for how many things you cross off in the specific color.
I like this one because every dice roll is suspenseful because you want the things that you want, and it's just so exciting when you get them.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's exciting, and it's not exciting when you don't get them, and it gets very sad.
Yeah, it's simultaneous play too, so it's pretty great.
Yeah. I think this one, when we first played it, we played it numerous times that day.
Yeah,
because
it's so fast.
It is fast, but it's also like, let's just keep playing because I want to get the best combinations.
True.
It's so much fun.
Okay, next one. Qwinto.
This is another one actually from Pandasaurus that we'll be looking at today.
Yeah, this one's fun. This one is fun too. It's a little frustrating because you have to basically, you choose how many dice you roll. And then based on that, you have to write down those numbers if possible. And if you can't write them down, you fail.
Yes, and the numbers can't be the same as the column. I always get rows and columns mixed up. Yeah, so as a column, so there's 3 different. So it's tricky because you're trying to do the ascending thing.
Yep.
But then you're trying to make sure they don't line up.
Dogs are barking.
And that's what makes it really stressful, but really exciting.
Yes.
I think this one, once it gets to the wire, it gets so stressful because you really need certain numbers, and when you get them, it's like the best day of the world. Yeah. But when you don't, Tyler wins.
Well, and the cool thing here too is you are rolling the dice based on which columns you want to place it in, and then you add those dice up, and you're able to place it into one of the colors that you chose. So it's like a give and take with the risk. Yeah. And then if you
like risk.
If you also end up failing, it's like, oh, if I fail too much, the game is over for me.
I think I'll boldly say this is one of the best travel games out of the ones that we're looking at today.
I mean, look how small it is.
It is very small. It's a tiny box, but it's so easy and it's so fast to play that it's just, you can pull it out if you're on transit, if you're just in the park.
Yep.
And just play a quick round of Qwinto.
Yeah, and that's like not including the app ones, of course, because that's cheating.
No apps. This is analog.
Yay.
Qwinto. MetroX.
My brain hurts just looking at this game.
So I actually, this was one of the ones that missed my radar when we were doing the research for the roll and race that we should get.
Yeah.
So I want to do a shout out to Trisha who recommended this one to us because, wow.
Yeah. Oh, I love this game. It's just
Wow.
it's very stressful. So this one's a flip and right,
Yes.
and you're basically trying to complete rails.
Yeah, so it's a transit system that's intertwined and the stops kind of overlap each other. But based on how you flip, based on the number that's flipped or the action that's flipped, you have to cross off consecutive spots without breaks, which makes it difficult because of the overlaps. So it hurts your brain, but in the best way possible, because it's just it intrigued me. We actually just recently played this one, so my first impression is very fresh. And I sat there and I was just in awe of how many different ways you can like approach this game. And because there is that luck of the draw true and you can potentially reshuffle the deck right away because there's a reshuffle card, it just creates for such exciting gameplay that I feel like I haven't felt in a long time.
Yeah, I think the one thing with this too is because it's also a race to the finish. Like if you finish the rails faster than everybody, you get extra points. Like there's like this element of, oh, I need to finish this before somebody else does, but then you realize later on that you're like, why did I finish that?
And doing so you created so many like problematic areas for yourself.
Yeah.
But it is cool too because you see like that person is going for the red and orange and then somebody else is going for like these letters. So like you really get to get a feel for how everybody else is playing, and the more that you play it, the more that you can really kind of tell. The complicated backs, because there's Tube City or Tube Town is the main map.
No, Metro City is the
regular
round,
map.
yeah.
And then Tube Town is such a... We played it and our minds just went like...
so much, yeah.
Because like in Tube Town, they start here and they move all kind of one way and cross. In Tube Town, they come from like all directions and intermingle, and it hurts.
Just a different way of looking at it.
Yeah,
so
it hurts my brain.
Yeah.
And that's MetroX. Corinth. So in this one, you are a trader.
Yep.
Trying to make the most money and be the most celebrated in the town of Corinth.
Yes. Yeah.
And the reason I really like this one from the first play is you get to roll so many dice.
Okay, yeah, I do like it, but it's not because of the dice.
Not
I
because
like
of the dice?
I like the building aspect.
True.
There's like 4 buildings that you can build, and I think that's really neat because you have to spend your resources to build buildings that get you more later on.
Yeah. The earlier you have the buildings, I feel the more helpful they are because they essentially kind of progress your game.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because you roll 9 to 12 or 13 dice. I forget the top number. But there's the white dice that you get to roll, but you can also
there's 3 yellow dice.
So 12.
So 12, yeah.
So you can pay gold to roll the gold dice as well together. And then there's a board that has 6 spaces. And based on your outcome, you place the dice from the highest ones you place on the very top, and then from ascending order at the bottom. Yeah. So you could have like maybe 6 and just 1s and 2s because you didn't roll any 3, 4s, and 5s. But the amount of dice is how many actions you have in that space, which is a really neat mechanic. I don't think I've seen it in a lot of roll and rates. And the art is friendly.
And they've got a maze if you're really ambitious and you want to try going through it.
Yeah,
well, it's not a
I don't know if I would call it a maze.
It's not a maze. You basically just trek through this square that has a bunch of circles in it, and you can't cross over those lines that you make. Yeah. But you get bonuses.
So it's kind of like a maze.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of bonuses. There's a little bit of everything in this game. But so overall, and it plays pretty quickly.
Yep. Most roll and rights do. I think we're gonna say that every single time.
This one plays pretty quickly. That'll be like in our face with it. Yeah. But that's Corinth. Now, speaking of, you said Trek like 3 sentences ago, and I'm like, that's such a good transition, but then it was too late.
Well, let's trek right into this one. Ha 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 ha.
So this one is in Canada, published by Asmodee Canada, but it's soon going to be published by Pandasaurus in the United States. So, and what a game it is.
Oh my goodness.
I feel this one is not talked about enough.
No. It's like a... Well, okay, I'm not going to say it's a legacy game because it's not a legacy game. But in this game, you get to unlock different things, and it's so cool. So you have goals that you're working towards outside of trying to win the game that just make the game that much better.
Yeah, there's a lot of games where like you play the base version and then it tags things on to make it like more fun or adds modules. And sometimes I feel like that's messy and it's not always the best. I think this game nails it when it comes to that.
It did a very good
because you have like the goals you're reaching, some of them we haven't even unlocked yet because they're just difficult goals that are really tough to get.
Yeah.
But they're not additions. Well, there's a little bit of additions per se, but a lot of them are also replacements. So there's like new maps, for example. Is that a spoiler?
No, it's pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious. They're like they're new. There's new maps in it. Yeah. But there's also like various other content too that really add to the game and just make it shine.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice because like basically you can play just one map. Or you can go on an expedition where you play like an easy, a medium, and a hard map. And whoever has the most points at the end of that wins.
Yeah, we got so excited about the unlockable content we didn't even talk about what the game is. but
I mean, you roll the dice and you
Yes.
draw the dice. You pick like between, you want the higher dice, the lower dice to add them. You want to subtract them or multiply them. And you can't go higher than 12.
No.
I believe you can't write higher than 12 down.
You cannot.
But basically you fill your bubbles in and you try to make
mix sets and
pairs. Well, not pairs, but like
same numbers. Yeah. And based on those combinations, it creates some exciting moments.
Yes.
But it's tough too because you branch off from the first number that you write.
You have to work from the bubble that you start at. Yeah.
And it's fun. Like it's thematic too because you're going on various expeditions. You can make there's a little campaign you can make out of it. There's so much in this roll and write box, and cannot recommend this game enough.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Incredible first impression. So now let's move on to Castle Party.
Spooky. That was not scripted.
Or just kidding, it wasn't. So, this one's also really
cute.
Unique. Very cute.
Yeah,
it's also very unique. So there's a mansion castle.
Pumpkin King, I believe, is what the story is. The Pumpkin King is throwing a party, and you're basically trying to fill his castle with guests.
Monsters.
Yeah.
So this one is really neat, and like I feel like this one's really unique. There's not a lot of roll and writes I can compare it to.
No.
Because the way that it is a flip and write. Yeah. You flip a card that has a shape, but then that shape gets filled by the monsters by the player. So everyone has a card of 3 monsters in their hand, and then they'll play in the beginning spot and then try to branch it out. And then everybody at the end of the turn will place that shape with those monsters into their castle.
Yeah.
Now, it gets tricky because the game ends, it could end early, but it could also end really later. And if it ends later, you'll have to throw a lot of guests out of your castle because if shapes don't fit, you have to draw them outside in the moat.
Yes.
And that's not very nice.
Unfortunately, they fall into the moat and suffer. But it is very cool because you basically want to make a bunch of consecutive spaces with your monsters that you have. And it's just a lot of fun to see like what the other person does versus what you do. And the other thing that Ilya, I don't think you mentioned this, is the way that the card is oriented is the way that you have to draw it. So if I see it,
flipping.
Yeah. If I see a T like this,
that's true.
then
That's
I have
really
to draw
good
the T like that. But if Ilya is sitting on the right side of me and he sees it like this, then he has to draw it like this. And I think that's very neat because
I haven't seen that before either.
It adds like this piece where it's like not everybody's doing the exact same thing because you can't.
Exactly. And there are some bonuses you can play. There's also the thing that I absolutely love is that there's three different scoring conditions or 4? 3, I think.
Yeah, because there's party leaders or like leaders.
There's different scoring conditions, but after you hit like the clock, you score 3.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah.
3, right? 3?
There's 3 different ones, I think. Yeah.
So once you hit the clock, you choose which scoring condition you want to score. And the second clock, you choose the second, and the last one, you score the last one. And I like that because you can go for different things earlier to try to get that one earlier.
Yeah.
And it just creates a lot of really fun elements. But
because you end up scoring all 3 of them no matter what. It's just how well you do it.
Yeah. And if you made it this far in the video, we'll give you a sneak peek that this is our check it out for the week. Yeah. So come back on Wednesday to learn more about Castle Party.
5 more!
5 more to go. Let's do this. Silver and gold.
Nailed it. Like the ABBA hit.
Thank you.
You really like this one.
This one is so neat.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that we're doing a giveaway for this one because I really hope more people get to play this game because it's just wonderful. So you're hunting for treasure.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a deck of shapes, and you'll see them at the bottom of the main scoreboard. And it's super cool because you just draw a card and then you draw it on your the 3 islands that you have available to you.
Yeah, and you can flip and you can rotate in this one,
Yes.
so that's nice. But as you cross out various things, so if you cross out an X, you get to cross out an additional space anywhere on the ones that you have on your board.
Coins get you extra points.
Coins get you extra points depending on
Trees.
when you get them and how many you get. Trees do the same thing. So it's really, there's a lot of different things you're trying to pay attention for, but it plays and flows super well. And it's really neat because all of this is played on cards.
Yeah.
So it's really compact and they're dry erase. So yeah, it just makes me very happy.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this one is that you can get cards in the game that give you extra points for completing different colored cards.
Yes.
And that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so there's different bonuses. Some cards are worth more, some cards are worth less, but they're easy to complete.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes me so happy.
Yeah, it is a really good game.
This is a really fun portable game too, because no matter, you can play it in a compact space, but you can also spread it out and make it like a table-wide event and make it, honestly, the game of the evening. It can be really fun.
True, yeah.
But
Yay, silver and gold!
Silver and gold!
Maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones to try it.
5 winners! Patchwork,
one.
Duel. Another one from Uwe Rosenberg.
Yes. I really enjoy this one because Patchwork is a great 2-player game.
Yes.
And I always felt like I wanted to play it with more people.
It was actually funny because this weekend we had a friend that came over to stay with us and she said, I love Patchwork, but it's only 2-player so we can't play it. And I'm like,
well then, let us introduce you to... Yeah.
So it has a lot of really similar mechanics, but here you, instead of picking the next 3 tiles, you roll and let the dice pick. Yep. And you play in 3 rounds with 8 cards to kind of choose from. So it kind of condenses the game a little bit.
Well, and everybody draws the same shape.
Yes, everybody does draw the same shape. So it kind of creates a simultaneous play aspect. It's quite smooth, but the scoring here is really neat. And it's also incremental scoring. Yeah. Because you have to try to create a square. And then based on how many lines extra of that rank till you get more points. But the squares are worth the most.
Yeah, because you get squared of what they are. Haha.
Yeah, so the scoring is quite different in this game, but it's really exciting. And it's very possible to also fill in your whole 9x9 grid.
Our friend actually did.
Yeah. So definitely, if you enjoy Patchwork, if you enjoy Patchwork, or Second
Chance,
enjoy
Patchwork,
if you enjoy polyomino placement, if you can like drawing and making it all clever, because you can also make a quilt. You can make it really cool in pattern.
Yeah, that's what I did. Is every single time I had to draw something, I drew it a different pattern. Yeah.
So definitely check out Patchwork Duel if that's your.
Well,
cities rolling right.
We just did a check it out on this one.
We did, so I'll link that one below as well. That is 2 check it outs that you can watch if you have not seen them.
Exactly. This one's a race. Like straight up, it's just a race.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because you can choose not to get the dice and you basically like just risk it.
Yeah, that's very true. I think there's so much in this game that I really enjoy. I'll do 2 things and I'll let you know.
That's fine.
I can talk about this game all day. So at the bottom of each, so like Tyler said, it's a race. You're writing numbers in ascending order. Yep. Trying to cross the bridges first to get the bonus points and score more points at the end. What's really cool is you can,
Sorry, yawn.
Yeah. Ooh, not bored. A little bit tired.
Yeah.
So what's really cool is that at the very bottom, you can roll zeros with that color to fill it in to double the points. But what's neat here is that double affects the negative and the positive. So if you get really unlucky and can't really draw more on that column, then you'll get double the negative points, which can be terrible. Yeah. But that's a risk that you decide early on, because once you do that the first time, you can't later come back and cross that off and double the points. So it's a really
you actually just have to commit to it.
Yeah,
so
very interesting mechanic.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I really like is that you don't always have to focus on all of the columns.
No.
So I think that's really cool that you can just
go for a few.
Go for a couple and then race for them. What's the other thing that I wanted to say? Oh, I've never actually played Lost Cities.
Me neither.
So
we need to.
Now that we've played this, I think it's like almost a must. And we'll be keeping an eye out for it.
Yeah, because I do like when there's, especially because this is such a good roll and write. I feel like I'm curious if it's a good reimplementation.
Or like how does it compare?
Compares, like how
exactly.
it plays. So I'm really excited about that. And the last thing I'll say, that was a really cool first impression. I don't think I've seen it in any other games as well.
Colorblind.
Oh, it is colorblind friendly. That was not what I was gonna say.
Oh, really? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna. Okay, well, let's say it's colorblind friendly because the
Yes.
dice have colors and they have symbols, which a lot of these games can do because there's a lot of colored dice, and it's a very easy way to kind of showcase how you can be colorblind friendly with dice. But what I was gonna say is this game has a really interesting mechanic when it comes to refusing dice.
Yeah.
So if you refuse dice a small amount, you'll actually lose points. But if you refuse them a medium amount, you get points. And if you refuse them too much, you get 0 points. So there's that weird tug and pull of like, you want to score points by refusing some of the rolls and not drawing anything. But you don't want to do too much because later on, if you actually have to refuse, you can get that 0. So it's that weird like toe line that you're trying to not cross. But that really intrigued me because at first I'm like, did I read this right? Is this the...
Yeah, do I get 0 points for this?
Yeah, like how does this work? Yeah. But I also scored the max points you can score from that column when we played it the first time.
Me too.
Lucky.
Welcome to... That sounded fun. Welcome to...
Your perfect home.
I love this game. I think it's so cool. It's like... It's a flip and right where you get options. And the fact that you get options means that everybody's board is going to look different. And like, that is pretty common in a lot of roll and writes, a lot of flip and writes. But with this one, there's 3 different cards that you can pick from. And you obviously just have to use the number that's on top.
Number and the action.
Yeah.
And I like what I like about this one is it actually feels thematic. Like I think a lot of roll and writes you're just like, what is the number? What is the color? How can I make the most points happen? Yeah. Where this one is, I'm building a neighborhood. I want to make the most points happen, but I'm building fences to close in these areas. I'm giving this person a pool. Like it feels like the choices you're making are more meaningful, which really resonates with me.
And there's a stock market in this, so you can make house values more expensive, and it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. We first played it actually on Board Game Arena, and our friend introduced it to us. So that was I'm really happy that she did because it's a game that you never really get tired of.
And it can be played 1 to 100 people. Probably. Wait, did I read that right? Yeah. Yes.
Well, I feel like you can play it with unlimited amount of people.
You really can play with it.
We definitely want to be part of a world record of a board game. So if anyone is doing a world record, please ask us. But the other cool thing I'll say too is I heard there's a welcome to the moon coming. And there's a campaign element to it too. So I'm very, very excited about that. So, yeah.
You also get to name your town.
You do get to. That's the one thing I actually I'll say I don't like in games because I feel like I'm always so much pressure
to be a little bit.
But it's nice because you don't have to name your town. You can just leave it blank.
True.
But it is. I always feel so much pressure to name.
Oh.
I usually just name them after one of our pets.
Nothing wrong with that. Welcome to Beasley.
Swanson. And that's welcome to. Last but certainly not least,
Sonora.
So this is the only flick and write that I know of. And I think it's the only one in existence. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there's another one out there.
Super neat game.
What a beautiful game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So you have 5 discs and you get to flick them onto this board, and wherever they land, you get to do certain actions.
Based on the mini game of that corresponding space.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because on the board too, there's some multipliers. So like, and your tokens have values from 1 to 5.
Yep.
So like you can, if your 5 lands on like a multiplier, you can do the 5 action twice or even have 10 in that depending on the mini games. But the mini games are really cool. There's like one where you're racing to finish clumps to get points.
Yep.
There's one where you're drawing like polyomino shapes to try to cover as many cacti. The mud cracks that you're trying to fill and get triangles.
Yes.
They're all very clever and very unique, and I feel like it's a game that I can just pull out and play again. I want more teams of this game.
I like the minigame aspect. It feels like a lot of like the Clever series.
Yeah.
Where you are just like going for one, moving to the next, and then comboing based on that. So I really appreciate that. The flick and rights, it adds that randomness that exists within rolling dice, but in this neat little way of flicking them.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. The one thing I will say about this game that I know for sure will happen to me all the time is I get so fixated on trying to make combos happen that it loses me the game. And not that I'm
paralysis by analysis.
Well, no, it's not even paralysis by analysis.
No?
I literally look at the board and I'm like, okay, how can I break the game? But like, I don't want to break the game, but how do I make it so I can do one thing, another 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 thing, and then it just like goes on, and it just makes me feel good about myself. So I don't have to win the game to actually enjoy it. I mean, most board games I don't have to win. It's just fun to win. But this game, if I get a sweet combo, there you go.
I want more of these types of games. Like I would love flower one or like an animal one, or because there's so many different mini games you can make, and the flick and the where you land is such a unique mechanism. Like I want a sequel to be like, now let's go into the wetlands. Now let's go into
the
like
wetlands in here, isn't that?
No,
It's just the desert. It's just the desert.
It's the dried out desert.
It's called Sonora for a reason.
But we can explore different like geographical spaces.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool, like maybe you're going sailing and then there's like a marine version of it. But I want more flick and rights, so please, Pandasaurus, if you want to make one more,
we would not be mad.
We would be very grateful. But we are giving away a copy of Sonora
as our grand prize for our giveaway.
Check the descriptions below, and the way you enter is you enter leave a comment below.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed our first impressions video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to us. We really do appreciate it, and it helps us a ton. Makes us happy.
Let us know which ones you've played and which ones you haven't, which ones you're excited to maybe go out and get. And hopefully we can motivate you or convince you.
Inspire you.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. To pick up another game.
Exactly. Yeah. So, no specific question of the day today. Exactly kind of what Tyler said is, have you played any of these? Do any of these resonate with you? Is there a roll and write that you're really looking forward for us leaving a first impression of that may not be on our list, but it may be, who knows? Yeah. Leave a comment down below, because we love to chat with you. We love talking roll and writes. And if we made any mistakes, maybe that's your comment.
There you go, yeah.
You're like, what are you talking about? Sonora isn't a desert. It's a wetland. It's not a wetland. It is a desert.
Most definitely.
Commenter number 8.
I'm so sorry to commenter number 8.
Well, thank you so much for watching. Stick around for much more content in our Roll and Write month. Make sure to rewind and look at the recaps of our videos. We also have a blog, which we'll link down below, that recaps the week of what we've done. And follow us everywhere. Check out all these Roll and Writes. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye!